Hello everyone, Jeff Duncan along with Josh Katzenstein, and we are at the Jack Hammett Sports Complex in Costa Mesa, California, where the Saints and Chargers have just concluded a joint practice against each other, about a 2.5 hour workout. And Josh, you were here last year when these same two teams went at it, this very site, and it seemed to be, after talking to the players, they feel a little better about how things went today, but what did you think?
Well, I agree with the players just because last year it was a week earlier during the preseason process. So, now that they have 2 preseason games under their belt, the Saints have a much better idea of what roles players are going to be playing, how to put guys in the right spots. And really they have a much better camaraderie as a team. And I think that's something that, we knew even before today's practice, just because last year there were so many question marks about which rookies were going to start, which, poorly performing veterans were on their way out. So I do think the Chargers actually looked better today. Now, don't freak out at home. I mean, it's just one practice, and I'm sure we said the exact same thing last year. But there were definitely, more positive signs, more good takeaways from the Saints this year than last year.
Yeah, and Sean Payton alluded to the fact that at this time a year ago, neither one of these teams was very well thought of around the league. And both of them ended up having decent seasons. Of course, the Chargers came on after a slow start. And look, there's been a lot of these joint workouts around the NFL. They get very intense. Sometimes fights break out. We saw a couple of incidents today where the intensity boiled up and it got close, but I thought overall it was really just a lot of good work and a lot of good competition.
Yeah, absolutely. The closest thing to a fight that I saw was when both teams actually did the pose for a picture after getting a turnover. The Chargers did it first, and then the Saints did it, and then both of the defenses sort of like came together, faked as if they were going to fight, and then it just turned into a love fest. And I'll actually have a story on that up soon at NOLA.com just about the Chargers actually claim that they started it because they were doing it in training camp last year, but the Saints obviously did it in a game first. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I know Michael Thomas, and a defensive back, had a little
stare down.
Stare. Yeah, no, but I mean, it was nothing crazy, and I think it helps that you have 2 coaches that are familiar with each other. Excuse me, because Sean Payton and Anthony Lynn were on the same staff with the Cowboys, and then obviously Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers had this long-standing relationship. So as competitive as practice was, tensions weren't that high.
And a few highlights just to mention: Marcus Williams with an interception on a tip drill. Drew Brees, a low light, threw a pick 6 in the 2-minute offense. But I thought overall the running game for the Saints, which has been a strength throughout the preseason, was a strength again today. A lot of nice runs from Alvin Kamara and from Mark Ingram. And I think that's going to be something that the Saints hang their hat on all year with that really strong offensive line.
Definitely. One thing to consider, though, is I thought Mike Williams looked great for the Chargers. The Saints defensive backs had a little bit of an issue with him. So obviously they need to figure out how to defend a big-bodied, receiver before they show off against Julio Jones and Mike Evans. One other highlight, though, David Grunfeld, the man behind the camera. I would definitely look for his slideshow after we get done here, because he was running all over these 2 fields, getting the best stuff. So definitely check that out at NOLA.com.
Great stuff of Drew Brees, signing a lot of autographs afterward. Obviously, Drew Brees, very popular, started his professional career here, lives right down the road in Delmar. All right, that's it for Josh Katzenstein, Jeff Duncan, and David Grunfeld. Check out all of our work on NOLA.com, and we'll continue it tomorrow right here from Costa Mesa. Thanks for reading.